Hi, everybody, and welcome to Generation XYZ of football. I've got Sheikh Sermpeti and Oliver Keohane, the money boy. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Kev.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, good to see you, Sheikhs. We're going to get right into it this weekend. We've got 10 games in the Premier League. We've now had 4 games as a sample to see and get some form, and now we're going to start the Generation XYZ from see who can win this year. And I'm quite confident that I'll win this year. I don't know who won.
I'm confident that you will as well. And that's why there would be no show if we won.
Shakes disagrees, though, don't you, Shake?
No, a little bit. As long as you probably argue that Leeds lose every weekend, I think you'll get closer to winning then.
Well, yeah, that and Arsenal. Let's get into Leeds Newcastle. Bottom dweller comes to mind. Bottom dwellers.
No, that's a good insight in terms of bottom dwellers. Fun enough, Newcastle actually, despite them losing 4-1 to Manchester United, I thought they played really well. I think the scoreline it tells a different story, but obviously they're just finding it hard to keep clean sheets. Also, as well as Dubravka and as well as Darlow was suffering with injuries and as well as COVID as well. And Leeds, on the other hand, I thought even them too. I think it's Leeds when they play against bigger sides. They open, they never necessarily defend. So I think Leeds have a good chance of winning this one. If it was my opinion, I probably would say Leeds to win this one 3-1. I'd go as far as that.
Yeah, for me, that's not a bad bet. I mean, for me, Shakes, Leeds, they haven't quite looked the same as last year. They only know one way to play, which is great for the spectators. But you lose this game, and then you Newcastle take you over, and you dropped into the relegation. I know it's only 5 points, it's 5 games into the season, but this is a bit of a big game for both teams. Newcastle obviously they got one point from their 4 games. Leeds have got 2. Both of them are averaging about 3 goals, conceding a game. I can see this game being a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there, Kev. It's like no one's given any indication that they are the significantly better side than the other, but we know that when they play, there will be goals scored and goals conceded.
Yeah.
So I agree, 2-2 is a good shout on that one.
Yeah. Next up is Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Brentford. Wolves have looked pretty good. Both teams have looked pretty good, actually.
I saw, I don't know if you've been following, if you were following after Wolves played Man United, and they were talking about Traore, and someone tweeted he really should be playing for a bigger club like Saracens.
he's a beast, eh?
Yeah, he's a unit.
He's a big unit. He's solid on his feet, great in attack, holds the ball well, can take on defenders. Sorry, Shane. Hey.
No. Hey, look, hey. I thought you were talking about me there for a second, but let's go on about Adama Traore. You're right. He's big. He's quick. The only criticism I have of Adama Traore is that I just feel like he should be contributing to more goals, I guess, in terms of assistant goals. I looked at his numbers, and I think he has about 5 or 6 goal contributions in the last 39 Premier League games, and that's for someone that size, that's not really good. So maybe Saracens is a good club to go to, right?
Yeah. There's worse clubs out there. Sorry.
No, take it away.
No, I'm going to say you got Brentford. Started off unbeaten, lost the last game to Brighton at home 1-0. That was a bit of a disappointing result for me if I was a Brentford fan. And you've got Watford. You've got Wolves that put away Watford at home comfortably 2-0. They've played Tottenham and Man United, 2 decent sides, and Leicester. So they've had a tough schedule, and I think that Wolves for me are going to come away from this game 1-0 victory for Wolves for me.
I'm gonna go 2-1 victory to Wolves.
Oh, nice. Okay, so everybody's going Wolves. I'll also go Wolves as well. I think Wolves might be too strong for them. 3-1 Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Now, next up, who cares to watch this game besides Shakes? Burnley versus Arsenal.
Arsenal riding high on confidence after a Norwich City win. Aubameyang's tapping them in.
Arsenal won their relegation encounter as well, 6 points against Norwich. That was a very crucial win. Honestly,
Wasn't convincing though, was it? 1-0.
Yeah.
What's that, Kevin?
It was hardly convincing. 1-0.
Look, I would argue that the thing is Arsenal were not ruthless enough because the chances were being created, especially when Thomas Partey and Emil Smith Rowe came on. They were not they were not clinical enough in front of goal. That should have happened. But the fact that they got the win was the most important thing because if it ended up being a draw or even a loss, it possibly would have been, the tension would have been high. And after watching Burnley against Everton on Monday, I think Arsenal have a chance. Yeah, I really do think so. I think the fact that
I never thought I'd hear the day where someone says, "I think Arsenal have a chance against Burnley."
look, man. I mean, we look forward to when Leeds have to play Burnley, and we'll do those predictions as well.
We just did. We drew with them away.
But my my prediction actually that I'm going to go with this game. I think Arsenal win this game 2-1. I really do.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I think that Arsenal has also been a bit unlucky with their injury situation. They've had COVID issues. They've had some quality players out. They don't have those same injury concerns they had at the beginning of the season, and they're a much better outfit than Burnley. And I see Arsenal winning 2-0 this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take a 1-0 and Arsenal. I would hope to think that they don't lose this one.
Yeah, that could well get Arsenal. Look, if they,
Look,
I
their
think every
defensive line
game.
is back.
What's that?
Their defensive line is back for the most part,
Yeah.
which is where most of the money was spent. So yeah, I mean you build the attack off that. So
Yeah, I think that anything less than a win for Arsenal keeps the pressure on Mikel Arteta's job, and
Definitely agree. He needs to win this. I think, yeah, definitely agree that he does need to win this. Was a very bad start as well. But like Oliver said, which is a key point, is that most of the players are coming back. The only thing I would worry for Arsenal for is that Burnley are very strong physically. So I think if Burnley have set pieces, corners, they definitely can overpower Arsenal for sure. But I think in terms of keeping the ball on the ground, I think Arsenal have a good chance of winning this one.
well, yeah, if they lose this one, Shakes, what is a certainty is that they'll lose to Burnley. Yeah, so Burnley will go ahead of them on the table. Leeds will probably get a point, possibly 3. Arsenal could well be sitting in 18th position. Leeds are playing Newcastle, so one of those teams probably going to end up with 4 or 5 points. So if Arsenal lose, almost certainly they will be in relegation position after 5 games, which is not a great position. So this is a game that Arsenal have to win.
Without a doubt, I definitely do agree. Is that Arsenal definitely have to win. If he does lose this game, then Tottenham's next. And if he can't beat Tottenham, then I think that the fans might climb over the stands and really ask the owners themselves to say, "What's this man doing here?" And it's hard to fight for him if he can't get results. Chelsea, City, okay, fine, but Brentford. That was a big loss. And now he cannot lose to Burnley. And with Tottenham coming next, they do need the 6 points. No Europe that was played, no excuses. Go out there, get the points, and walk out of the stadium.
The thing, I was reading an article in The Athletic a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about how well he's liked, how well he's respected. The one thing that concerned me was in the article he was quoted as saying that, he's got to get a buy-in for the culture he wants to create. There should be an Arsenal culture that permeates through that team, regardless of who is in there and who he is. And whenever I hear words like a coach saying I want to get a buy-in, fuck the buy-in. I mean, it's Arsenal, and you don't look for consensus on a buy-in on a culture. You create the culture.
that's assumed as well.
Yeah.
It's assumed that
You
they
play
should
for the
win.
badge, and Arsenal's a proud football team. So those sort of words concern me as a spectator and someone that believes in tradition and nostalgia. But anyway, we all agree that Arsenal's probably is going to get the win on the weekend. Next up, this is an interesting game, hey? Because Crystal Palace, after a rocky start, drawing with Brentford, losing to Watford, then coming back against a solid West Ham side away, and then hosting Tottenham and thrashing Tottenham 3-0. Is Patrick Vieira's vision and the time that he's had to work with that team over 4 games starting to take shape, Jakes? What say you?
No doubt. No doubt about it. I think one thing I liked about Crystal Palace is obviously their football is so much better than what Roy Hodgson was playing. They pass the ball a lot more. There's a lot more combinations in play as well with them. And one thing for sure against Spurs, if anyone watched that game, like 3-0 is actually the best result that describes that game because even before the red card, Crystal Palace were outplaying Tottenham. I couldn't believe how bad Tottenham were, considering they were the team that was on top of the league at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm sure they must have been lucky. And I think things are starting to take shape, but I do also feel that Liverpool might just have too much quality for them. But I think against other smaller sides, I think Crystal Palace can get points. But this weekend, Liverpool might just have to be too much. And I think maybe 3-1 for me against Liverpool. 3-1 win to Liverpool.
You're saying about the red card and the 3-0. It's like people are very quick when it's a 3-0 with a red card, say, oh, but they got a red card. But then what about the many matches that happen when there's a red card and the team stay at 1-1? The other team doesn't capitalize on it. So kudos to Crystal Palace also for having that sort of killer instinct to be able to then take the momentum prior to the red card and then use the red card to just start hammering them in. That's also a marker of a decent team, is the ability to do that.
Yeah, how do you think the Champions League game for Liverpool will affect their side? I mean, they did rest some players in that game as well, didn't they?
Look,
I mean, they rested
Van Dijk didn't play. Van Dijk wasn't on the pitch as well. Gomez got a run as well. You look at even up front, Sadio Mane didn't play from the start too as well. So there's a number of players that Liverpool got to rest. They still walked away with a win. I just feel they've got too much quality for Crystal Palace. But I do expect Crystal Palace to give them a game. But it's just the fact that quality is going to eventually prevail in this game. And I think 3-1 to Liverpool.
Yeah, and the fact that it's at Anfield, that's a special place. And I mean, it's just a magical theatre for football. And one interesting sidebar is that in the last 3 games that these teams have played, Liverpool have scored 13 goals and Crystal Palace have scored none. So it doesn't bode well.
History. Look, I think Liverpool also, when you talk about the Champions League game, I think they can only take confidence from it in the sense that they were absolutely dominant for that first 40. I think it was something like there was 13 shots in the first 15 minutes or something like that from Liverpool. It went sort of 2 goals down and then they still came and won 3-2. So I don't think there's any huge concerns for them coming off that match, but rather the fact that they were able to pull it back and they were the dominant side.
Yeah, and Liverpool, in another impressive stat is Liverpool have beaten Crystal Palace 9 straight games.
Sure. Yeah,
dating back to 2017.
I'm going for a 3-1 win for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think the Crystal Palace will also maybe sneak a goal, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory as well for Liverpool.
Cool.
Shakes, rattle and roll. What do you say?
Yeah, I say 3-1 Liverpool as well. I definitely would say 3-1 Liverpool as well.
So that's not a 3-1's not a bad scoreline, hey? It's very seldom do we all agree on a scoreline. So for those
if you guys actually rewind this part, I actually said it like twice.
Sorry, Shakes.
Okay, so 3-1 Liverpool. The next one up is Man City versus Southampton.
I think Man City are just like... Sorry, no, I'm Shakes. It's just, people are like, oh, Man City spent all this money, they don't have a striker, and Man City this, and Man City buys their team, whatever. But Man City at the end of the day have been scoring like goals and goals and goals, and their signing, who wasn't a striker, but is Jack Grealish, is also scoring and assisting, and
scored again on the Champions League.
Exactly, and I think City are just too class. They score goals, so yeah, I mean, comfortable City win for me, 3-4-1.
Yeah, look there. Well, see, you're right. City have scored 5 goals twice in the Premier League against Arsenal and Norwich, and they scored 6 against Leipzig this week. This week, so they do score goals for fun.
I mean, the most interesting part about Manchester City, I don't know if you guys saw it, was actually Pep Guardiola. You watch Club Brugge against PSG. Stadium is packed in Club Brugge. You watch Liverpool against AC Milan, the stadium is packed as well. You watch even Young Boys against United, the stadium was packed as well. And then you watch Manchester City and Red Bull Leipzig, and the stadium is not full. It was surprising. And then I think even Pep as well, towards the end of the game, he kind of took a swipe at the fans, saying that the fans need to come on Saturday. We're going to need them against Southampton. And
It's that classic case of them getting spoiled, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, Man City, it wasn't too long ago that they were playing in Division 3, or what's now called Division 2.
Yeah.
You know, I think in 2007, they scored a total of 17 goals in the Premier League. Right? You know,
and that's the funny part, is that I think if anything, money can obviously buy you players, but I guess history is another thing as well. But they go up against Southampton, like Oliver said, they spend all this money, they still score goals. And that's the thing, whoever thought that a team that spent over £900 million since Pep's come in, they're going to say they don't need a striker. You know, they should be able to get past teams without strikers, and I think they will get past Southampton as well. It's at their home ground. They've scored 16 goals in the last 3 games at their home ground, I think. And I foresee City winning this one. I'd even say maybe 4-1, I'd say.
I'm going to go 4-1 as
well, I don't know where Southampton will get that goal, so I'm going to go 4-0.
Fair enough.
Unless it's an own goal. But yeah, to me it's a runaway result. Put your house on it. City to win this game.